Let's bring in Evan Mulholland now from the Institute of Public Affairs. Thanks for joining us, Evan. You've been right on with this ABC thing. This was a gift there to them to show that they were practising what they're preaching when it comes to being all in this together.
Well, it was their chance to show that they were all in this together, and this is proof that they're completely detached from mainstream Australia. In both April and May, Assistant Minister Morton, the Communications Minister Paul Fletcher and the Australian Public Service Commission wrote to the ABC imploring them to take the 2% pay rise, and 80% of staff, today it was announced, voted to reject that pay rise and receive the 2% pay rise for tomorrow. In doing that and rejecting that advice, ABC staff, 80% of them, consider themselves morally superior and more worthy of a pay rise than staff at Services Australia, Centrelink, Department of Human Services and the Department of Health, all of whom have taken a pay rise and all of whom have been on the front line, pay freeze rather, and have been at the front line of this pandemic.
Yeah, it is just extraordinary hypocrisy. At the same time, most of these ABC, at least the presenters and hosts, have been campaigning publicly for more funding for the ABC.
Exactly. We had a report out yesterday that the elimination strategy would cost $319 billion in lost economic activity, yet the ABC have been the biggest cheerleaders of an elimination strategy through their reporting and journalism and podcasts because they're not affected from it in the slightest. Now, I've seen media unions out there saying that Paul Fletcher and the government's insistence on this 2% pay freeze for just 6 months was an attack on the ABC's independence, but these same media unions don't seem to be too concerned at the New Daily paying the ABC for content, or seem to be too concerned about the fact that, all of its journalists are asking the government to be part of this this Google and Facebook revenue stream to the commercial media. That would make the ABC completely dependent on a revenue stream that's on Google and Facebook's success. That's not independence at all.
Look, these are really tough times for a lot of people, but it also sharpens the divide between people in the public sector and the private sector. People in the private sector have lost their jobs or are facing job insecurity. The public sector, a lot of great people, they're doing great work, but job security is really a gift. And especially in the media sector. You would have thought all the people working at the ABC would be fully aware of the trauma, job cuts, salary cuts going right across the media in this country.
Well, revenue streams have dried up for commercial media. The commercial media has been absolutely smashed by this COVID pandemic, and it's further proof of what we're calling a K-shaped recession. Those in the private sector have been absolutely smashed, while the public sector, who are making the decisions on our behalf and cheerleading for these policies, have been completely untouched. While since March, private sector wages have gone down by $5.9 billion, while they've gone up in the public sector by about $720 million. It's ridiculous. And I think this, further to this point, the government was very angry in a lot of their statements today, and this should really kickstart a debate about privatising the ABC. Then they might be a little more empathetic to what's going on in the commercial media.
We'll have to come back to that one at a later time, privatising the ABC, but I think they really should practice what they preach here. They're not all in this together. They got their cake and they eat it too. Thanks for joining us, Evan.
Thank you.
Evan Mulholland there from the Institute of Public Affairs.